When my phone buzzed that Tuesday afternoon, I didn't expect anything dramatic. I was watering the small patch of roses in my yard, enjoying the quiet after years of chaos and loneliness. Then I saw the message. Stay out of our lives for good. Don't contact us again. It was from my son, Adil. For a long moment, I simply stared at the screen. It felt like someone had pressed a fist into my chest, slowly, cruelly, deliberately. I sank down onto the old wooden chair near the window and read the message again, hoping it was a mistake. It was. But this wasn't the first time Adil had pushed me away. The signs had been appearing for years. After his marriage, he began visiting less. Calls became rare. Messages turned formal cold, almost like they were written by a stranger. I kept trying, of course, sending food, small gifts, warm texts. Most went unanswered. Still, I held on to hope. A mother always does. But now, stay out of our lives for good. It felt final, brutal, unprovoked. My hands trembled, but tears did not come. I had cried enough over the years. Instead, I took a long breath and decided. This time I would not reply with pleas. I would reply with truth. Part I the painful past. Since his childhood, Adil was the child I protected the most. His father, strict and quick-tempered, never appreciated tenderness or mistakes. Many nights I stood between them, shielding a trembling little boy from a man who confused discipline with dominance. I thought as he grew older he'd remember my protection. I thought he'd see how much I had tried to keep the home warm despite the storms. But the older he got, the more he adopted his father's attitude. He grew proud, distant, demanding. Then he married Sana. I loved her initially, but slowly I noticed the shift. She didn't want me around much. My advice was old-fashioned, my presence stressful, my questions interfering. Adil began adopting the same language. I swallowed every insult, every cold shoulder, every silent dismissal. Because that's what mothers do. But this was the final blow. Part II, my response. I opened my notes app. For years, I had written down thoughts I never dared to speak aloud, words of pain, disappointment, and gratitude. Today, I wasn't going to send bitterness. I wasn't going to send anger. I typed slowly, deliberately. Adil, I received your message. I will respect your wish, because love sometimes means letting go. But before I remain silent forever, you need to hear me one last time. My hands steadied as I continued. You were my joy when you were little. I stayed awake with you through every fever, every nightmare, every scraped knee. I shielded you from more than you'll ever know. Not because I expected repayment, but because you were my heart. I paused, my eyes moist. If I have ever hurt you without knowing, I apologize sincerely. But being unwanted by the child I carried is a pain no words can describe. I didn't lecture him. I didn't blame his wife. I didn't beg. Instead, I ended with, you have chosen your path, and though you shut the door on me, I still pray for you every night. May your life be filled with the love you deny me. This will be my last message. Take care, my son. When I hit send, I felt a strange mix of relief and sorrow, a quiet acceptance. Then I put my phone away and went back to my garden. Part II, his silence, then his return. For 3 days, there was nothing. No reply. No call. No sign he had even read the message. I kept myself busy, cleaning, cooking, visiting my neighbor, tending to my roses. But inside, I was breaking. Every buzz of my phone made my heart jump. On the 4th night, just after I made tea, there was a loud knock on my door. When I opened it, Adil stood there. His face was wet, not from rain, but from tears. His chest was heaving like he had run a long distance. He didn't wait for permission. He stepped inside and collapsed onto the couch. Amy, his voice cracked. How could you write that? I stood still. You asked me to stay out of your life. He shook his head, covering his face with his hands. I didn't mean it like that. Sana and I had a fight. I was angry. I took it out on you. I'm sorry. But I didn't rush to comfort him this time. I simply sat across from him. Do you understand how those words felt? I asked quietly. He wiped his eyes. Yes, I do now. After your message, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing your words. I thought about everything you did for me, everything. I was ashamed. He looked up at me, broken, humbled in a way I had never seen. I don't deserve forgiveness, he whispered. I took a deep breath. Adil, I never wanted perfection from you. I only wanted respect, a little love. He nodded, tears rolling freely. Can I try again? He asked. Can I be a better son? This time, I moved closer. I put a hand on his shoulder, the way I used to when he was little and afraid of the dark. You already are my child, I whispered. The moment you walk through that door. Part IV, a new beginning. Things didn't magically become perfect overnight. Sana apologized a few days later, her voice soft and trembling. They both promised to visit more, call more, include me more. And they did. But the biggest change wasn't their behavior, it was mine. For the first time in years, I stopped chasing affection. I stopped begging for a place in their lives. I learned that love is not proven by how much you endure, but by how much you respect yourself. That day when I replied to Adil's cruel text, I wasn't trying to win him back. I wasn't trying to guilt him. I was simply telling the truth. And that truth shook him more deeply than any anger ever could. Sometimes the softest words leave the loudest echo. And sometimes a mother's silence is powerful enough to bring her child home.